Hey, Pisces, Intuitive Soul Coach here with your October 2024 career reading. Welcome back to my channel if you're returning, and welcome if you're new. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, change is in the air. Now, I am getting Pisces the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. Some of you are embarking upon a journey that may have been hidden from view. It may have felt at times deceptive, or it may have felt like you've gone through a lot of trials and tribulations. But I see there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's some sort of self-awareness. This could be inner truth. It could be truth around a situation, perhaps due to this eclipse energy that we are in the middle of. Now I see moving forward in truth instead of perhaps a lie, and fears can be lies. So if you have had some fears around a situation, maybe even perfectionism, fear of failure, I feel like that is being addressed, or it's showing up in your conscious awareness instead of being buried deep down in your subconscious. There's a shift taking place here internally. Yeah, wow. Because you have the Five of Swords and there's the Ace of Truth. There's the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So if you have been dealing with maybe an individual who has been taking advantage of you, maybe someone who is very selfish, perhaps someone who really had an inflated ego, or maybe a wounded ego, which made them react in a specific way because they wanted a controlled outcome of some sort, but it came at a cost. It came at a cost to you because it caused you to maybe settle for less than you deserved. It may have kept you in a position that it feels like maybe growth was stunted in some way, shape, or form. But I'm almost getting like you're a tourist. You're a tourist this month where you're learning new skills. You could be starting up a new project. Maybe you are being employed by a new company, and it just feels like this is exciting because it feels more of like planning a trip and going to some place you've never been versus taking the wrong exit on the highway and entering into an unknown, scary town, right? I feel like this is something you are excited to kind of pivot towards and learn. So whatever this is for you, Six of Coins, it's way more balanced than maybe it has been in the past, but there's also perhaps a gift, a resource from the universe. This could be someone giving help, receiving help. This may have to do with a settlement, some sort of aid, financial aid. If you've asked for assistance in some way, shape, or form, I feel like it's coming in for you. So let's dive in here, Pisces. You start off with the Peacemaker, and how interesting is that with the phrase that we got in the beginning, nothing but the truth. So there's definitely truth coming in here for you. And it says you are being called to apply diplomacy and tact to a difficult situation. Some of you, this has to do with taking an issue to human resources, or perhaps it was a legal situation. It may have been some form of documentation required or needed. I am getting evidence or proof of, maybe what you needed to be able to make the move or to take something to the next level. There may be some sort of proof that helps you in some way, shape, or form. Consider politics, negotiations, unions, contracts, or any other peacemaking careers. Now, of course, that could be you. I am getting the justice scales here as well. Perhaps you are bringing justice, bringing fairness to the lives of others. But I feel like the peacemaker here could be an external factor individual, person, organization with the Six of Coins that brings or helps bring assistance or peace to a situation. Okay, so someone else could be a mediator of some sort here if this is not you. Now we do have mechanic, mend what needs mending. It might be broken, but all is not lost. So because these are career and finance readings as well, there could be an item that needs fixing, perhaps a washer or dryer. This could be a part on a vehicle, maybe an oil change. This may be, a repair at the office or at your home. Some of you may work in the industry such as automotive, aerospace, repair, technician, HVAC. I feel like mechanics is significant here, either in personal financial structures or in business. Okay, take that as it resonates. But I also feel like something is getting fixed and it's going to free the energy up to be able to have more productivity. So for example, let's say the dishwasher broke, okay? Dishwasher broke, dishwashers are convenient, they help us save time, and now you're washing dishes by hand, right? Because the dishwasher's broke. I feel like this is the month where you call the repairman or you get a new dishwasher, whatever it may be, but it allows you or frees you up to take the time that you would normally put into washing those dishes by hand into something that feels more lucrative, more productive, because I am getting productivity this month. I feel time management is significant. I do feel like you're finding ways to invest in things that pay off and other things, instead of letting the dishes pile or instead of letting things kind of amount to a big old mess. I feel like you're putting out all the little fires basically. And some of you, that could be part of your career, is putting out fires. I mean, some of you could be a firefighter. Some of you may be coming into connection with a helpful person. Yeah, it could be a mechanic. Again, it could be someone who helps your business, someone who, is in your organization. That could be a huge potential client. I also see you moving in a brand new direction mentally. Okay, I'm getting Hanged Man energy. Even though the Hanged Man isn't out here, I do get the Knight of Wands showing up in your environment. That is the card of action, because some of you feel like you've been settling or you've been on the path that there's been a lot of resistance. Okay. There's been a lot of troubles, trials, maybe deception of some sort. It's been heavy with this Five of Swords. And I do see here, you've allowed yourself time and space, or you're about to kind of allow yourself a little more space to evolve and find your true path here, your true north. This could be that Taurus energy that I'm feeling, a little tourism. You are going to branch off. You're going to try something new. Enter into a new phase or new environment for some of you. You're in a state of avoidance, possibly because the action is too hard. If that has been the case, maybe that's why the mechanic is coming in saying, okay, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. We're putting in some work here. And I do see action being taken, not just in your environment, Pisces, but in your main energy here as well. You have take action. Whatever your question, this is telling you, go for it. Okay, go for it. Do not procrastinate or wait to take that next step to get ahead. Just do it. And some of you, there was a tad bit of a waiting period. Like I said, I felt that Hanged Man energy. And this could be a perspective shift that changes the way that you view your outer world, right? And it allows you to finally take that next step moving forward. Nothing will change if you don't take action. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Now, bottom of the deck, I see the odd jobs, Gaia and science. Yeah, some of you have a very scientific mind. You're very brilliant. You could be, in forensics. Some of you just like some good murder mystery, right? This could be a podcast or a TV show. Some of you may be biochemists or anything in the field of science. You have a very science-minded mind. And I feel like you're applying that scientific approach to business and financial problems. Some of you may even be creating an app. I'm getting you've created or will be creating an app or something that is saving time, right? Maybe it has to do with a program, a software program where you're able to help others in some way be more effective, be more efficient. Or this could be something you're learning, something that's under the microscope here. You may be in the health field, the medical industry, market research. I do see here you considering careers that bring in multiple streams of income, okay, or even passive income. You could be an author, maybe into real estate here. You may be finding many different ways to bring in income instead of just traditionally the same thing. Okay, and I do see here with the Knight of Wands, he is a little bit more out of the box. He is someone who thinks, what can he do to make money off his passions? And I feel like that's what you're doing here as well. Maybe a second job, or you're adding a job, because freedom is more important than that traditional sense of safety or security. Not that that's not good, not that you're not thinking about that, but I just feel like you want to travel, you want to be that tourist, or you want to work remotely or work from anywhere in the world. I feel like your gypsy soul within you, Pisces, is being activated at this time. And sometimes it's okay to take a transition job, even if it doesn't lead to a career, just to have a little bit of, freedom, or to be able to pay the bills at that juncture in your life in order to, move forward. I do see some sort of step being taken here. And your last card at the bottom, this is subconscious energy as well, is Gaia. Good old Gaia. Trust that the universe has a better plan than maybe a situation that has come before you, or one that maybe you think. I feel like you're entering into a period of, I don't want to say unknown, because you are someone who does listen to your intuition. You have strong intuition here, Pisces, but I feel like you're protected, or you are protecting the planet in some way, shape, or form. Maybe you work with herbs, you're working with nature in some way. You could be healing or helping the planet, humanitarianism acts, okay, nonprofit. Spend time with nature to be healed, soothe, and regroup. And that is your message coming up in the near future with the Four of Swords. So this could be a perfect month for you to take a little bit of time to travel, take some time off, okay? Plan, organize, but then implement it. I feel like there could be some quick, swift action coming in for you this month. So let's dive in here into the tarot. You do have the Page of Swords showing up. It is in the reverse here. So some of you, there's been some challenging news, or it's time for you. I feel like there has been a challenge in the past, nonetheless, with the Five of Swords in your past position. And this may have been someone taking advantage of you, manipulating you. It may have been, a very immature energy. Okay. Someone was putting up a little bit of a unfair, biased opinion or fight. I just feel like there's been some sort of struggle or challenge, and they didn't know all the information. Maybe that's why the truth needed to come out. Someone didn't have the facts straight, and they may have judged, they may have criticized without knowing the whole story. That's the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And I feel like that's getting resolved here, because the Page of Swords, yes, it may be that intellectual curiosity is needed in order to solve, or in order to take the next step. Intellectual curiosity. So being curious about, what's going on in that left and right hemisphere of the brain, right? You have your intuitive side and your, rational side. What can you do to blend those energies together and come up with some strategic solutions? I feel like that's what you are doing this month. But right now, you may still feel a tad bit disconnected because you're feeling the residual energies of whatever this past stuff was. Now, the challenge, or as I like to say, the opportunity, because it's through the challenges where we grow, where we evolve, where there's the most opportunity, is the Seven of Wands. To, for one, not lose courage, because yes, this may feel like a setback, but it's not the end all be all. And I see here, you are regaining a new sense of courage, a new sense of dedication. This is you fighting and going all in, but you're not fighting where you're being brought down, pinned down. I feel like you're fighting for a cause. You see on this take action card that people are fighting. You see that they're holding up signs. They're holding up they're fighting for what they believe in. And I feel like this is what you're doing here. You believe in yourself, your skills, your gifts, your talents. Even if someone in the past here didn't, you're going to say, you know, maybe it was best that I don't work with them, or perhaps it's, you know, now that the truth is out, I'm able to free myself and move in a new direction, because I feel like you actually have the upper hand here. And there may have been accusations is what I'm getting. There may have been accusations where you felt pressured. You felt like you let your guard down and someone disappointed you. Maybe you got in a state of fight or flight and you wanted to flight out of a situation, but I actually feel like you're fighting. And it may not even be with this organization, with this company, with this individual, but I feel like it's you fighting for you, because you are a warrior. You are a warrior. Now, what's below you is needing change. You know when it's time to exit out of a contract, but be mindful that it's not because of hypervigilance, you know, being in a state of fight or flight constantly, where instead of learning valuable lessons, that you're just jumping from the next situation to the next, and the same energy is kind of following you because there's something that needs to be learned. Now, I do see here, though, with the Six of Swords, it's not in reverse. It's in the upright. So instead of reluctance to change, as I was just saying here, where we repeat something, I feel like a lot of you, you've learned very valuable lessons. You're very intelligent. You're very wise. You have skills. You have experience. And I feel like this situation, I mean, I'd want to get out of too. Five of Swords. So if you've been there before, right? I'm going to say this. If you've been there before and, you know, you are being lied to, manipulated, used, coerced, if someone is being a poor sport, I feel like there's been lessons in that for you, lessons around boundaries, lessons around your self-worth, what you will and will not put up with. You may have even been the catalyst or the trigger in this energy's healing or learning. Okay. And it's not always fun to be the catalyst, right? Because then that means we're stuck in it like a monkey in the middle and we're wondering, how did we get here? But sometimes that's part of our soul contract. And I do see here that regardless of how difficult something was, I feel like the truth is coming out and you actually are in a position where you have the upper hand, okay? And maybe you haven't felt like you've had that upper hand, and maybe it doesn't look like you do in the physical, but in the spiritual you do, and it's going to allow you to ascend, advance, and move forward with something that feels more aligned. Yes, absolutely. Now, what's above you, Pisces, is the Ace of Swords. Newfound sense of clarity. Well, good, because this Page of Swords in reverse, he feels a little disconnected. He feels disconnected because of what's gone on. He's not quite sure how to tackle some of these goals. What are his goals even? Does he need to come in and reconfigure everything? Does he need to shake that Etch-a-Sketch and destroy the plans that he's been creating or building because it just was built on a lie or a faulty foundation? Well, now you're going to know. This is a sense of clarity. This is about that light bulb moment going off. And I feel like once you know, you know. It's just like once you learn something, you don't unlearn it. You may forget, you may forget at times, but once you step into that energy, think of riding a bike, for example. Even if you learn how to ride a bike when you're young and you don't get on a bike for 40 years, you don't necessarily forget, you don't have to start from scratch. You just have to kind of remember again. And then you fall right into that energy. So I feel like if there's been something that you haven't done for quite some time, you have this newfound sense of clarity and you actually are able to move forward instead of learning it all over again and taking that amount of time. It's just going to take you a short amount of time to remember what it is that you've learned here. I hope that makes sense. Now we have the Four of Swords. Four of Swords is showing up in your near future, and the Four of Swords is about TLC, giving yourself a little bit of that tender love and care, focusing on rest. You've earned it here. Some of you have fought tooth and nail with a situation. I'm almost getting like lawyer vibes. They're showing me the TV series Suits, if you've ever seen Suits, or maybe some of you are watching that now. But I feel like you can argue very well, or you're able to state the case very well. Or if you're dealing with something of that nature, I just feel like there's evidence and you're on top of it and you actually come out on top. You're not letting anyone make a fool out of you here. And because you've gone through this energy, now it's like you've won. You've won the case, or you've won this situation. There may even be a tad bit of a 2-week notice or a new job. This is good energy showing up here. It's mental stability. It's coming to a place where, yes, there's been a lot of disappointment. There's been rejection possibly. But when you get the Four of Swords, some of you are traveling. You are, resting because you deserve it. You've earned it. You need this renewal. You need to take a break, because when we ignore the signs of rest, that's when our minds take over and we lose sleep. We're not sleeping properly, not eating. We start to get a little delusionary. If you've ever stayed up for a long period of time, you start to see things that aren't there and you just feel all over the place. I feel like no one wants to feel that way, right? And I feel like because we have the Ace of Swords, there's some sort of rest to the mind coming in here. Now, what's going on in your energy? Nine of Coins. Nine of Coins is creating a life that you love, creating a life that you are proud of. It's individual achievement, and it feels like it's been a little bit in the sideways. Maybe there's been some sort of dependency on another, dependent on a job. Perhaps it feels like you didn't receive the victory that you wanted, or you did get it, but it doesn't feel as fulfilled. And maybe that's why you are now really reevaluating. That's what we do in the Four of Swords, is we reevaluate. And by giving ourselves the time, the space, the tender loving care that we need, it allows us to really reevaluate and take inventory of, what's really going on. What are some beliefs? What are we tethered to? What do I need to do to improve my circumstances? What's working so I can repeat that versus what's not working so I don't keep doing that same thing? And I feel here with the Nine of Coins, by taking this rest and this time out for yourself to really, address some issues and to have a new understanding. I mean, this is about, Ace of Swords is about cutting through the barriers. It's the ace of honesty, the ace of truth. And I feel like you are staying authentic to who you are. And for some of you, this energy of the past tried to take away your authenticity. Maybe tried to take away your voice, steal your ideas, didn't listen to you in some way, shape, or form. But remember what I said about you still getting there, you still rising to the top, you still come out with the upper hand in some way. Here it is. And some of you may feel a little bit disappointed, like, shouldn't I be happier? But you deserve this rest because you just came out of a situation that may have been very difficult. So give yourself some credit, cut yourself some slack, even if you're not feeling as excited as you had hoped to be. I feel like it's just because things are kind of, finding its footing, right? It's like going to that new place if you're a tourist and you walk into a new restaurant and you try some of the food and you're like, I really had high hopes that it was going to be a little bit better, but it's like it's not over yet. You still have the main meal, you still have the dessert. Maybe it's something you've never tasted before. It's an acquired taste. And I just feel like don't don't judge it before it gets good is kind of the energy I'm picking up on here. Because you have the Knight of Wands showing up. This is about fearless action, which I like the word fearless. You know, we have fearful and we have fearless, because in both energies, fear is present because we are souls having a human experience, and fear is part of that experience, but we don't have to let it be the driver. We don't have to let fear sit in the driver's seat. I always say, fear, get in the back seat, right? If we want to move forward, we can be fearful, and when we're full of fear, we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to stay in the driveway. But if you say, fear, you can come with, of course, because you can be helpful from time to time. You can help, see the signs and take caution and all that, yada, yada. But if you let, fear take over, it can really create a very unsettling energy, or a settling energy, I should say. You settle into things that you wouldn't normally. I feel like you want to take a risk. That gypsy soul is really activated here. And the Knight of Wands is someone who heads towards their curiosities. So again, we're getting more messages around, what are you curious about? Take action in that direction. And I almost feel like the cat here, cats have 9 lives, and they do say, I know there's a cliche, curiosity killed the cat, but because you have 9 lives here, I feel like you have these opportunities to head towards what you're curious about. And even if one of them you hit a brick wall, or if it's a dead end, don't stop, heading towards what you're curious about in fear, right? In fear that you're not going to go anywhere, or that you're just going to keep hitting that brick wall, because you are learning along the way. The Knight of Wands here is someone who can be very bold, right? He's a risk taker. Risk is required, but this is fun. It's enthusiastic. It's courageous. It's, adventure. And I feel like you are being guided to take a little bit of a risk here. Step outside of the comfort zone, become that tourist, and have fun with it as well. Have fun with it. Try not to have expectations per se. Try not to, have a plan. I mean, don't have a plan. It doesn't mean quit your job and go over here, but I feel like taking a calculated risk is going to be necessary. And you see here that on this Knight of Wands, he's riding the motorcycle, which they're fast, right? This is the second fastest moving energy. And I feel like, or some say this would be the fastest, but you see that he has a helmet on, he's protected. And I feel like he has a little bit of a wheelie going on here. He's doing a wheelie, and I feel like you're wanting more adventure, more excitement, and it just feels like things have been way too serious here with all this mind chatter. And the message here is to have fun. Have fun. In your hopes and fears, you have the Page of Cups. There's the fun. There's the excitement. This is you listening to your intuition. This could be the beginning of, a new situation for you. This is your hope, but you need to remain vulnerable. You need to kind of open yourself up to this, because sometimes the fears close us down, right? They keep us in the driveway. And if you want to go out and be an adventurer, a tourist in some way, discover some of your curiosities, and feel that momentum and that motivation, then you have to be open. And I feel like that's the hope and the fear here. Now, the outcome energy is the 7 of Coins. Fruits of your labor paying off. Even if you tend to embark upon many different paths that you're curious about, and some of them fall to the wayside, some of them, you're not as curious as you thought, that's okay. Because this is part of the learning process, and you're not going to know unless you move forward, unless you try it out, unless you sample it. And that's what I get here, is you sampling some of these flavors, right? Because instead of just giving up, instead of walking out of that restaurant because you're like, I don't really think I like that. It may be an acquired taste. Maybe it's something you've never had before. Perhaps, you haven't got to that peace that just melts in your mouth, and it's yes, it's a big yes is what I'm getting here. So for some of you, the fruits of your labor are going to pay off because you weren't scared to try something new. And that's the big message here. Let's get a message from the wisdom of the oracle. What do we have for Pisces? Pisces. Some of you are like, Mel, I have been trying new things. That's not the problem. The problem is Five of Swords. Because sometimes this Five of Swords can come creeping back in, and it can come at a cost, right? Maybe there's been some sort of loss, some sort of fight. Maybe you feel tethered to a situation, and you have card 50. No place like home. It's almost like some of you just want to tap your slippers 3 times and, and get back to a place that feels safe and secure. All right, card 50 also breaks down to 5. 5s can be change, right? They can be change. They can be heading in a new direction, coming out of a situation that's been difficult. This is authenticity. There's that Ace of Truth again, Ace of Swords. Coming home to yourself, feeling at home, arriving at a place where you fit in, okay? Or being comfortable in your own skin. These are big wins. So often we tend to look at the outer world, our achievements, our accomplishments, what we have, the amount of money in the bank account, whatever external things validate our success. And we often neglect some of the biggest things, which are, our integrity, our authenticity, our intuition, our heart, and how we've grown and how we've overcome trials and tribulations, and how we continued to be curious and vulnerable despite have gone through situations that can shut a person down, right? And maybe you did shut down and you had to take a little bit of time for yourself, and you're like, Mel, I'm just tired of taking care of others. I'm just tired of the responsibilities. I just want some time to have for myself, right? And that's okay. That's okay to need that you time, but open back up once you've refreshed. Don't sit in that for so long that you forget where you come from, right? And that's why you have no place like home. When you act in an authentic way, you command the world to reflect back to you exactly what is in your highest good. Your business choices, the investments you make, and the creative projects you immerse yourself in are powerfully on point. Why? Because when you are fully yourself, radically accepting everything in your journey to date, both successes and failures, you will see the divinity in all things. Abundance is a natural progression when you experience this kind of authenticity. I like that here for you, because remember what we kept saying in the beginning is you're going to end up on top. This is a win-win, even if it doesn't always feel that way, or look that way, I should say. Look that way in the physical, right? It's not just about the physical achievement piece, even though that's coming. I do see the 7 of Pentacles and that 9 of Pentacles. That's full-on achievement, but it's about, being in alignment and feeling good as well. That has to match. And I just see here you being authentic to your path. And it does seem like at times, what is familiar and known is not the best choice. And we talk about that here as well. Human beings are memory-driven creatures. Remember the bike story, right? We do. We remember things. We move forward based on memory. And it says, we all look for certainty, for what we know, even if the qualities we seek in other people and in external conditions are expressed in unhealthy ways. Avoid being too eager to find home. And I kind of feel like the reversal here. Yes, there's some great advice in the prosperity message, but I feel like the reversal or the protection message really does hone in on what we're talking about. Being that Taurus in some way, shape, or form. Don't be too eager to find home. Choose something unfamiliar and trust that there is that there you will find a new normal that supports your spirit. Remember, if you do what you did, you'll get what you got. Do the opposite of what feels right, even if it's uncomfortable, because what feels right is really what feels familiar. And you will attract and be drawn to the very thing you don't want anymore. This time will not be different unless you do something different. And that was a big moral of, your whole reading here. That's why you have the Knight of Wands showing up here. Don't be afraid to dive into a new path, a new curiosity, right? Instead of going back to the familiar, because like it says, the familiar isn't always the healthiest choice or option. Trust in the universe, right? Trust that the universe may even have a better plan than you do. Surrender, release that Hanged Man energy. All right, Pisces, let's get a few messages here from your spirit animals. And at this time, if you can, safely do so. Please close your eyes. Take a nice deep inhale from your solar plexus chakra, your belly area. Nice big belly breath in. Hold it for as long as you can. And release with a nice big sigh through your mouth. And with your eyes still closed, tune into your third eye chakra, the area between your eyebrows and your forehead region. And I want you to imagine the first animal or animals that show up in your mind's eye. Now this could be an animal that flies high in the sky. This could be an animal that swims deep in the sea. Perhaps your animals are wild, magical, mystical, or even domesticated. It could be a pet that's crossed over the rainbow bridge, one that you currently have at your home or by your side. This could even be a creature that's crossed your path recently in the great outdoors. There is no right or wrong answer, Pisces. And if you need a moment, just pause the video and come back when you're ready. And for those of you that would like to be entered into the free monthly reading giveaway, where I draw one winner around the first of each month and post right back here on the channel, all you need to do is drop your power animals in the comment section below the video, and I personally will enter you into that giveaway. All right, I'm loving your animals today, Pisces. First one out, we have the cat with 9 lives. Independence. Claim your independence. Beautiful cat spirit. It's card 13, which is a very beautiful omen. 13 is a lucky number. It's also the death energy in tarot, and it's about transitioning, right? Liberation, freedom, phoenix rising from the ashes. And I feel like you are claiming your independence here. That is a big message for you. Some of you may be born on the 3rd, the 13th, or the 4th. You may be 62 years old, 48 years old, or 35. We have armadillo. Set healthy boundaries. Armadillo. 62, turtle spirit. Slow and steady wins the race. Now that may sound like a conundrum because we have a very fast moving energy here, but I feel like this is about slowing down a bit with the 4 of swords, so you don't feel like you're rushing through life, okay? You know that song, I'm in a hurry to get somewhere? I'm in a hurry to get nowhere, okay? And I feel like some of you, it's because you've been living in a state of, that hypervigilance or fight or flight, right? Slowing down a little bit so you can enjoy, the adventure. So you can be that Taurus, but don't rush to get through it because it's about the journey, not necessarily just the destination. Rush and rush until life's no fun. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Porcupine, time for a beginner's mind. That's that page energy that we see. Time for a beginner's mind. Try not to get in that fight or flight with the porcupine, but you are protected. I feel like the quills here, there's a protection layer over you. And energetically, you're protected as you make this change or as you transition into maybe this new energy at this time or this new role or this new chapter of your career. Because spirit has a plan. You have the koala spirit. There is a plan here that may look different than the human plan, right? Or our egoic plan. But I feel like there is a plan by spirit nonetheless. And it's a plan that your spirit is starting to remember. And remember that whole bike analogy? I feel like that's also you saying, wait a minute, this is something I really loved in childhood, or this is something I learned, but it may have helped me at that time. And how can it help me now instead of maybe hinder me, or it's something I forgot about? How can I reinvent this within myself? Maybe a childhood dream, perhaps something you've always wanted to do or become. I feel like you are becoming. And last but not least, your final animal is badger. Be fearless and bold. There we go with that word again, fearless. Fear a little bit less today, Pisces. Be bold, take courageous action. It's card 4. That is the Emperor. And I feel like it's time to take action, right? Time to take action. But again, it sounds like a little bit of counterintuitive here with the 4 of Swords, but hopefully explaining it earlier about just slowing down and enjoying the journey, enjoying the adventure. Hopefully that makes sense with that song as well. So last but not least, let's get a couple of final messages from your guides, your angels. We have human connection and belonging. Touch is a basic human need for survival. Infants need human touch just to survive. Safe touch lowers blood pressure, boosts the immune system, decreases stress, and boosts the feel-good endorphin hormones. Schedule a massage, share a hug, hold a loved one's hand, or give yourself a foot, hand, or neck massage. Your mantra, Pisces: I feel connected to myself when I allow myself to receive healthy touch and connection. So yeah, and that could be part of taking a little bit of time out, maybe, finding that place within yourself, coming back home to you. And that's what it literally says here, come back home to you. So perhaps booking a massage or just connecting with a loved one, connecting with someone who supports you and you feel good with each other, in each other's embrace and company here. With that 6 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, I do feel like you are going to create that sense of belonging within oneself. So if you felt a little bit disconnected or a tad bit maybe scattered, there's that Ace of Truth coming in, going to cut through the fluff, cut through some of that here. And then last message is you were not born to settle. And you have the settling card here as a key theme. You weren't born to settle in any area of your life. Set yourself free. Embrace who you were born to be. Does your life feel constrictive, Pisces, or expansive? Pay attention to how your body feels in all areas of your life. Call it out. What is holding you back? What story do you have of why you can't have what you want? Journal how you feel at work, even at home, or any area of your life. Journal how you feel. Tell yourself, I am free. Lean into expansion. If it is on your heart, it is meant for you. Trust it. If you are curious about it, expand that curiosity. You may just be surprised where it leads you. That's what I have for you, Pisces, in the month of October. Career, I do see money here. I do see abundance, but that piece of, fulfillment may feel a little restricted. You're like, I have this, I've achieved this. Why don't I feel good about it? That's where that Four of Swords comes in a little bit. Allow yourself to rest instead of feeling like you have to get to that next level. I do see here clarity, truth, and new opportunity. You're going to invest in the things that are healthy. And I feel like you're taking great inventory on what that is, what needs to be released, and what curiosities and adventures and new things that you can discover. What are they? What do they look like? And then take action towards it. So thank you so much, Pisces, for tuning in today. I hope this helps and inspires. Thank you so much for being here, Soul Tribe. Lots of love.